Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to wherever you are in this ever-expansive now moment. Welcome to the Pleiadian Blue Ray show with your hosts, Shamanka, Natalie, Alaya,
Hello, everyone.
and myself, Bridget Rau. And today we're going to be talking about the Pleiadian New Year intentions and manifestations. We're going to be discussing how you can begin to use the power of attraction within your life, start making some new changes, starting with intention and affirmation, just to get the new year rolling in the right direction for you so that you can create some more abundance in your life. You can start bringing in more communication and guidance from the star family, begin to attract in your strengths and your abilities within the higher consciousness so that you can have better communication and exciting communication with your guides. And we're also going to be talking about some of the star lineups right now and what's going on in the astrological world. And we're also going to be discussing some of the new rites that we have coming out. We're doing an introduction to Muneki coming up next weekend.
Sunday, yep.
Sunday. So we're going to talk about how all that ties in with this. You know, the Soul Star Rite connects you with your star family, and when you start using the power of attraction and you start using your manifestation tools, you can really start to find your soul purpose with the assistance of your soul family and figure out what the hell you're supposed to be doing on this planet.
Because it can be quite hard to figure out.
It really can. I mean, a year ago from today, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing any of this stuff. I was at home, pretty sad and miserable, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I had spent 5 years, in the awakening process of trying to figure out who I was and what I was going to do. And that's why I made the Be Creatively You website, because I couldn't pinpoint one thing. I was like, I want to be a writer. I want to be a copywriter. Oh, I want to do advertising for people. I want to be an artist. I'm going to be a poet. So I took all of those things and I put them into one spot on Be Creatively You. And it was all about, putting myself out there in every aspect, the good, the bad, the ugly, and hoping that other people would feel, encouraged to do the same, to go out there and put themselves out there. Because I know starseeds have a hard time with promoting themselves. Some of us are great artists, some of us are great musicians, some of us are very avid in psychic development and things like that, but we tend to hide that. So I think this is a great opportunity with the new year approaching to come out of your shell and start using the tools that are available to you to do that. So how do you feel? I mean, do you feel like you've pretty much manifested yourself into a place that's where you're supposed to be?
Well, I guess yes and no. In terms of work, definitely. Work, I am definitely doing my soul mission. I knew, I started this, maybe the awakening about 10 years ago, right after 9/11. 2001, however many, that's probably like 14 years now, or 15. I can't, but around that time. And I know around 10 years ago was when I knew that I wanted to do the shamanic, and then I did the trip to Peru and got the Muneki and all of that. I am definitely work-wise doing what I want to do, but in terms, there's other things that I'd like to have in my life. I don't have a partner. I don't know if I want a partner, but that's the other thing. But in terms of work, definitely I'm doing what I want to do. I love my job.
And I feel that's the first step we got to take into making all that other stuff happen. So, I mean, that's the secret, the big secret, the power of attraction, all that stuff. Everybody's like, how do you do this? How do you attract it? So the easiest way for me to explain it, which is not very easy, I always have a hard time when I try to explain this to people, you have to start putting yourself into the vibration. You're already there. If you want to attract your most compatible mate, That's what you say. I am attracting my most compatible mate. You don't say I am attracting a guy or whatever, because then any asshole can show up. You want to put it out there in a way that is concrete and is going to bring the best possible outcome to yourself. So when we say I want, or I'm trying, or I need, or things like that, we're putting those into a vibration that are never going to happen, or they're going to happen in a way that's not aligned with our best purpose. So when you put those two words, I am, in front of something, that's like the biggest strength you can give yourself. And you act like it's happening now. You put yourself in that vibration. I always tell people to close your eyes, imagine what it feels like, imagine what you see, what you hear, what you taste, to have your most compatible mate. So maybe you would picture like the embrace of this person. You'd taste the taste of their kiss. You know, you'd have that love within your chest that you feel as you're spooning in bed at night. Pretend like it's already happening, and that gives it like a jump start into making it real. And you can do this with any aspect of your life. If you are trying to get in a diet or something, you're not happy with the way you look, I see so many women do this where they're like, I'm this, I'm that, I need to do that, I need to do that. You need to start affirming, I am beautiful. I am at my most healthy weight. I am...
And it's always in the now, isn't it? I am this, like what you want, you know? I am in the best partnership that I want now. I am the weight that I want to be right now.
Right. And that's the hardest part people have, is
they're like, but it's not true.
Right. and that's part of it too. You're not lying. And I also feel like writing it down makes a big impact, because you know, you don't have to share this with everybody. You don't have to go around being like, I am awesome, I am great, I am everything that's going on. You want to keep it humble.
To yourself in the mirror while looking at your eyes. That's also a good one. Though it's hard for some people to say these things while looking at themselves, because you do feel a bit foolish.
Right. But you know what? That's the part that's the most important part, is you have to retrain yourself. You have to reprogram your mind to let go of all that shit, all that conditioning, all that marketing and advertising they've thrown at you since you were little, thinking you have to be a fucking princess in a castle to be happy. So they make you think that you need to be with someone else to be happy, because maybe you don't. Maybe you'd be happy with yourself if you could love yourself 100%. So I'm not perfect. I don't have everything I want. I don't have all of the riches and gold and the best fucking husband or anything. I mean, he's pretty much a douchebag sometimes, but we're working on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's you're working on it. I was gonna say I love what I do, but you know, obviously I'd like to do more. You know, with what I do.
And we also have to remember that
improve. And I actually really want to write, so I'm going to work on. Say I am a writer. I am writing my books.
Right, and part of that too, because you know, we can sit and affirm till the sun comes, whatever. You know, you can do that all day, but we also have to take action in our life when we start doing this stuff. A perfect example, one of my friends, she's been doing this work for years before I ever came onto the scene, and she's a Reiki master, this and that, da, 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 da. And she's like, how come you can just come out here and start, like, you know, I was like offering meditations here, putting myself out there, working at different places, and I'm like, I just do it. I just ask. I mean, you just gotta jump and try. Stop doubting that. People aren't, what's the worst they're gonna say is, no, you can't come here and do that?
Yeah.
Most of the time, those people who are running places are looking for someone like you to come and offer something, because they don't have something to offer 99% of the time. They need someone to come in and help them out and assist. And a lot of times we get stuck on the money issue.
Especially star seeds. Star seeds seems to have a big money issue in terms of manifesting it, and also like working with money.
Right, and that's because where we come from, there is no such thing, and money is just fucking bullshit. But I
just
do a lot of
stuff without thought form. That's what I think money is, archon thought form.
I was actually talking about this yesterday. it was funny because, like what we were saying about, not knowing what you wanted to be or do with yourself, during that time where I was like, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, I researched all those different types of things. I researched how to be a copywriter, how to do marketing and advertising, how to design on web and all that stuff. And now I use all of those things that I learned in what I'm doing now. So it's like, collectively, I was being prepared for where I'm going. So you guys have tons of information. If you in this world right now, I mean, you have a fucking computer at your fingertips all the time. Like, it's not hard to put.
It's almost like magic. I mean, seriously, people, it's amazing what we have at our fingertips now. I saw they have a recent thing where it's like, take a picture of any plant and get it ID'd right away, an app that will tell you the name and everything about the plant. So it's like we can all be herbalists now.
Right, but you can also be the person that makes an app like that for something else. And become, like, that's the thing, like, the limits are not there anymore. Like, you can really do whatever you want. And I saw a girl post today about she wished she had stayed in school because to be a beautician or a nail technician or whatever, but she sells that makeup online that everybody's been selling. And I'm like, just tie it into what you're already doing. Have a party at your house with your friends and give them all makeovers. Guaranteed, they're going to want to buy the shit you put on their face if it makes them look good. You don't have to fucking have a piece of paper that says you can do that. Just do it.
Yeah, people can get stuck on that, too, about having the piece of paper.
Right.
If they don't have the piece of paper, and there are plenty of entrepreneurs and other people that didn't have the paper but went out and did it. It's the action, really, where a lot of people will miss. They have the thought, but it doesn't there's like a barrier, and they don't get to the action bit.
Right. Just like writing. I mean, I know where you're coming from with the writing. I have tons of stuff I always want to write, but I'm like, there's a big fucking barrier block. And if you can, like, put it into a perspective, like, okay, if you were going to be dying if you didn't get up and take a pill every morning, you'd get up and take that pill every morning. So when you get up every morning, have a set time where you just write, even if it's 10 minutes. Maybe 10 minutes will turn into an hour, 2 hours, whatever. But if you get into that flow of consistently doing it every day at the same time, just like we do our shows every week at the same time, it'll start to become a habit, and you'll break that barrier, and you'll retrain your brain to do the things you need to do.
Yep.
So we can do this in every aspect of our life. We can do this with connecting with spiritual side of life. I know so many people always ask, like, how do you know you're getting communication from the Pleiadians or the Lyrans or whatever? It's hard for me to explain, and I know it's hard for you to explain because we have clear. So we're not seeing like a big movie play out. We're not hearing anything outside of ourselves. We just know. And I feel like a lot of starseeds have that ability to just know and it can be kind of detrimental to your growth because it's hard to put it out there because it's like, do I just know this or am I making this up? The only thing I can really say for you guys is you got to feel it in your heart. Decide what really resonates and what doesn't. And if you're coming up with something that's like so fucking like it wouldn't have been in your mind to think it, then you have to know it's coming from somewhere else. Like all the meditations I offer. I never know what I'm going to say till I get there, and when it comes out perfect, and everybody's like, oh my God, and they all experience the same stuff. It's just trusting spirit to guide you will really begin to assist you.
That trust, did we call it, is it clear knowing that we have? Clear sentience? Clear cognizance.
Yeah, we have clear cognizance, but you got to trust, and maybe you have
to trust. And maybe if there is a lack of trust,
trust it. I also think that meditation, or even just time spent quietly, like if you've got something going on in the background, it's gonna take away from your connection. Like I sit in my room in silence all the time. I actually get aggravated because I can hear so much going on above me and like the other parts of the house. But in those silent moments is when the most information comes through. Or automatic writing has been really good for me. Like if I just start writing, it just flows out. And everybody has their
Cool.
way of doing stuff. Like I know you have that ability too, because I've seen the stuff that you write, and it takes on a whole new world from when I talk to you.
Yeah, and also I mean I'm absolutely loving the Zentangles. I'm Miss Tangles recently, and it seems like a lot of stuff is coming through for me, or I'm releasing stuff by doing that too.
That is another
And
form.
getting ideas, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures I've drawn, but I have a lot of like abstract work I used to do, and I would actually sit and listen to like Larry Locken, or just different channeled messages from the Pleiades or whatever. And that was at the time where I wasn't able to connect myself, so I was listening to channeled information outside of myself. I was listening to like Bringers of the Dawn, Earth, The Living Keys of the Library, and drawing. And it wasn't until, years later someone was like, oh, you're channeling into your drawing. And when you draw something, you're putting that energy into it. So anybody who sees that receives like information from the drawing. I think that's why people get a lot out of art, the ones who are really into it. Like, I never understood how they could walk up and be like, oh, I think at this time this person was perceiving the world to be, and they were very demented. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do you know that? Like, what do you see? It doesn't matter what the I don't get the art critics, but...
No, I don't either, because it's so personal, isn't it?
Yeah, like, you have no fucking clue what he did that for. He might have just done that just to be...
only your interpretation, or how it affects you.
He was definitely bipolar and depressed, and he wanted to kill himself. Like, really? You got that out of a fucking windy clock? Like, maybe he was just sick of time. But these are all different avenues and ways that you can connect to spirit.
I think, like, just talking about this new year intention, one of the things that I think is really good, and I think I will do this year, is a vision or dream board for the year.
Did I tell you about the circle that I did?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Maybe you did, but I don't remember.
This is another part of affirming and attracting with the power of attraction. Probably, I don't even know, it was like 10 years ago, I got a book that was called The Circle. And I didn't even read the whole book. I just went through like bits and pieces of it. And I typically do that with most stuff. I don't really read the whole thing. I kind of feel like, okay, I got it, thanks. But what you do is you get a journal. And on the first page of the journal, you draw a circle. And within the circle, you put in an affirmation in the present tense of what you want to manifest, like your biggest wish. And in the circle, I put, I am happy and in love with Jamie in our new home. And this was before we were even like dating. Like we were talking, but we weren't even dating. And he was actually engaged to be married and getting a house with someone else. So I didn't even realize it until years later when we were together, and I pulled the book out and the page fell out, and I was like, oh, it happened. Like,
wow.
But I know, but the whole aspect behind it was you do this with your circle in the now moment like it's happening, and then you can write throughout the journal like little fairy tales or whatever, like more affirmations to make the story seem real. So like, say you want to attract a new career. You would affirm, I am blah, 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 whatever career it is. And then throughout the journal, you start small with like, I am applying to this places, and you go into like a little story about how they contacted you, you got your first interview, make it like it's real. And I saw a post today, it reminded me of something I said before to my mom. I was like, every thought that you ever have exists somewhere because you thought it. And realistically, it can be anywhere in the universe. Like, if there's another fucking world somewhere where you think something and it pops up there, it all ties in. So when you use your creative mind, you tap into that weird consciousness potential. You start affirming it and making it happen, and then it just happens. And that's the only way I can explain it, is it fucking happens. So when you're putting those things out there like, I'm never going to have that job, or I really wish I could have that job, I really wish isn't going to make it happen. I really wish is just putting it off into the future. Like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. We have so many excuses for why we can't do something. When you
our mind can really play games with us and
Right.
really block us. So I do think it's not the mind. I do think it's archons behind the thought forms behind the mind that we can't see. Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
The motherfucking archons.
Well, whoever it is, we need to stop it, and we need to start affirming and attracting and setting intentions. And what better time to do it than at the new year, where everybody's doing their little things, and I'm going to quit smoking, and I'm going to do this. They're putting it out there wrong. They're not going to do anything, because they're saying going to means future tense. You want to put it into I am smoke-free, or I am 50 pounds lighter, whatever it is you want. And I hope that resonates with some of you and you can understand it. And if you can't totally comprehend it, Abraham Hicks has a lot of good information channeled. I don't know if you've ever heard.
I love Abraham. Yeah, okay. Great channel. One of the first that I listened to years ago were the Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of her while I was drawing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something you gotta consistently do. And every negative thought that you put out there has like 10 times more fucking power than any positive. So like if you put something out there negative, you gotta like erase that shit and then affirm to make sure it goes away. Just like when you get you're not.
Louise L. Hay says that like when you do the affirmations, and I have done the Louise L. Hay affirmations and I found that it worked. But she said the same thing. The negative ones are so much more powerful. So you have to say in her book, she says you have to say the affirmations about 100 times a day.
Yeah. And when you start doing that, you start retraining your brain to automatically think those thoughts. Because, I've been on this earth for 30 years, and I spent most of those time affirming all the negative shit. Like, I'm not good enough. And it took a long time for that shit to be reprogrammed. And it took, there'd be times where I would listen to the videos and I'd really try hard and I'd be doing good. And then I'd forget about it and slip back into that part of, everything sucks, life sucks. And I would go for a long period of time like that. And then I'd go back and I'd start watching the videos and start doing affirmations. Things would get better. Then you slip back. But now it's like, I know some of you who know me, Christmas time has always been a fucking hard time of year for me. And this year was the first time that I actually, was able to get up, get dressed, go out of the house, go spend time with family, regardless of all the stuff that was happening. And
good for you.
Yeah, when you start doing it, you start to get out, typically last year at this time, I was still in hibernation mode. Nobody saw me till February. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I was gone. Because I had gone and taken my Reiki 1, and I was gonna do Reiki. And then I became friends with Joan. And then, the Christmas time area came, and I just slipped into a depression, and I was in the basement. I wouldn't talk to anybody on Facebook. I wouldn't talk to anybody at all. They were sending me messages like, are you okay? Are you alive? And all I did was hide. And at Christmas, I laid in bed all whole day, and I was miserable. And then it wasn't until February I went back out and started seeing people again. Joan was, crying when she saw me because she thought something happened. She thought something was seriously wrong. And this year, she was like, you cannot do that again. And I didn't. Part of it was because I have a support system of people around me who love me and helped me through it. And part of it was because I knew if I put my mind to it and I affirmed that I wasn't going to let Christmas and winter and all that shit totally destroy my fucking world, it wouldn't. So, rather than being a mess for 6 months, I was a mess for a few days.
Yeah, I always seem to have, I call it a wobbly around Christmas and New Year's. I'm not feeling that good right now, guys. That's why I have a really bad cough, so I'm turning, and I'm kind of sick. But I've been having the wobblies aren't as long as they were before. I don't go into like the months long depression, but I really find this time of year hard.
Yeah. And I helped you today.
You did. It gave me a great laugh earlier.
I couldn't figure out how to log in today for some reason onto the thing, so I logged in through the computer, and the video was of me at my computer, and then I logged in through my phone, so there was a video of me at my phone, and I started laughing, thinking that Natalie was going to log in and see me on two things laughing, and that made me laugh more, and then I started hearing her giggle, so I knew she could see me. I think I started crying because I was laughing so hard.
I was laughing so much I was crying. I had tears streaming. Guys, it was just, if we could have taken a tape or made a skit out of that.
I could just like picture in my mind, like, what is she gonna think when she sees two versions of me laughing?
She was just laughing. I clicked on, and there's two versions of her, different angles, and it actually looked like there was like a slight delay. So it was like you were bilocating and laughing.
But that is, another part of affirming and attracting and manifesting is to be in a high vibration and to laugh. When you're feeling down or low, I mean, pop on some stupid, funny videos, things that are going to make you laugh. Find people who are going to help you to get out of it, because that, laughter is definitely one of the best medicines for when you're feeling like shit or depressed.
Definitely. It helped bring me out of this thing. I'm just feeling like I'm starting to get a little bit sick, and I don't want to. I don't want to.
So now we will affirm that you're not
healthy.
sick. I am healthy. I am not sick. I am cough-free. I am fucking awesome.
Yep, definitely. Well, I'll keep doing that, and I'll help it along with the hot whiskey after we're done. That's the Irish cure, is a hot whiskey.
Okay, so do you want to? We have an event coming up with the first two rites, and then the Soul Star rite of the Monet Key, and we're offering that as like a double team operation, and it's an introduction to the Monet Key for those who are interested but maybe not wanting to commit to the whole thing. But the Soul Star rite is another part of this, where it brings in the fifth dimensional energies of our star family to align us with our soul mission and our soul purpose, and it strengthens the communication you have between yourself and them. And I didn't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on astrologically at this time.
Yeah, I will actually, because I have a little chart up here. And I just wanted to say that before I do that, the introduction, you don't have to be on Facebook to get this. So people listening on YouTube or seeing this through Twitter, the Google+, you just click on the link. I'll have links there. What'll happen is on the day, we'll if you are participating, it's €50. We will send you a message when we're sending you the rite or the rites, and then we'll give you a message from spirit and everything, and you could just like lay down, meditate, put some nice music on, smudge yourself while you're doing it. So the astrology for the weekend, there seems to be, I know on the day of January 3rd, there seems to be a Lyran, big Lyran connection with that day. So I really feel like the Lyran energy is coming in on that day for the rites, which really I think connects with the Lyran triple infinity abundance, right?
Yeah.
And we are going to put together, this is just one of hopefully many events. Me and Bridget are going to put together the Star Rite events for Star Seeds.
Yeah. I'm working on the manual now.
Writing the manual now. So you'll have your soul star, the Pleiadian woven golden path, and the Lyran triple infinity. Right. And we're going to put those together and really like have them for star seeds because I think they'll help star seeds so much.
Right. And each one helps in a different way, you know. The Lyran one, for me, I mean, it's perfect for what we're talking about today with abundance and manifestation. That's what the Lyran triple infinity is all about, is installing the infinity symbol into your power center, your heart center, your third eye, and your visual cortex, so that you can begin to actually have the power to manifest the heart behind it and the visions connected. So, like I was talking about before, with all the ways that we can assist ourselves in manifesting, you know, when you're able to see, feel, touch, hear what it is you want to bring in and be in that vibration, that kind of amplifies that ability with the assistance of the Lyrans, who are, you know, very high in frequency and vibration. They have the Egyptian connection. They have a lot of golden energy with them.
Yeah.
And then you've got the two, you have the soul star.
Yeah, the soul star is not specifically to any, because it's, of course, it's individual to each person, starseed's own soul family.
Right, and that's the aspect I like about that, is where it connects you to who you are.
Your soul origin, where you came from, exactly. And the Pleiadian golden woven path, right, is in both ways. It's a psychopomp, right? So it's about helping people crossing over, which is very needed. And I think very needed for starseeds because we're very sensitive to the whole thing. We understand that it's just going to another dimension.
Right.
The passing over, crossing over, and that, you know, it's nice to be helped, you know, along that journey. And the path, by doing that, we're helping them cross over to the fifth dimension. That in itself is helping to anchor the fifth dimension more here on Earth.
Right. And I like that. I think that's another way, you know, we're talking about strengthening your connection with your star families and stuff. When you are able to access that path, you know, you meet the Pleiadians, and then you're assisting all these people who cross over, but you're also accessing those beings on the other side of Veil, the fifth dimension. So communication may pick up. Say you only hear things, you may start seeing things. Maybe you only see things, you'll start hearing things.
So yeah, and I can't wait. So we'll probably have more events, everyone that's listening, later in the year with just the star rights separately.
Right. And they are available separate too. You don't have to do all three together, but to do all three together, you'll obviously get a better. It will be better for your pocket because we'll be doing it together and we'll be offering it as a.
We'll give a group discount, exactly.
Right.
So I'm looking at the astrology. First I want to do the astrology of New Year's because I think we can tune in the way that I think a lot of starseeds work. And actually this is very much how the Cuero work too. Not so much astrologically, but they'll call down on the planets, the energies, when they're doing work. And this is what you're doing. So let's say on January 1st, you want to, like, what planet would you call on to help you to manifest? The one that I would call on, or the ones I would call on Jupiter, because Jupiter is about fortune.
Nice.
Luck, all that kind of stuff. I would call on Mars, because Mars is active action. And I would call on Venus. Because Venus is receiving, and it's all love and beauty, and also about receiving. So you're kind of combining. So on January 1st, we have Jupiter in Virgo, and Virgo is very much like it's an earth sign. It's about having things. Well, Virgo is very practical, but they also say that Virgo is the sign of writers.
Ooh, so that'd be a good one.
So it seems like, I think, like with Jupiter there, maybe to write down anything like that you want for this right or this intention. because Jupiter is very much honoring or in the sign of the writers and authors. Mars is in Libra. And actually, you know what? I just made a connection. The Mars is in Libra and Jupiter is in Virgo. Both Libra and Virgo are ruled by Venus.
Nice.
So, there seems to be that, and Venus is in Sagittarius, which is the high-flying, aim high. Sagittarians are the most optimistic and positive of the zodiac. So, in Libra is about balance. So it's like balanced action. So your Mars wants balance action. Jupiter is like write everything down. And Venus, when you call him Venus, Venus is like aim high, aim for the best. So I really feel like you can call on, if you want to do a little ceremony or whatever, call on Jupiter, Venus, and Mars to help you with that.
Perfect. And that is definitely awesome for what we're talking about. The power of attraction, the staying balanced, and the positive reinforcement. I like the idea of doing little rituals and some ideas for those who may not know anything to do. It can be an intuitive thing. It doesn't have to be like you don't have to Google it or nothing. Just go with what feels right. I saw one that really resonated for people who wanted to lose weight. You get in the bath and light a candle, and as the wax melts, you envision the wax melting off as being, the extra weight melting off into the water. And then there's some where, you can use the moons. There's new moons where some people will write down everything they want to get rid of, and they'll either freeze it in the freezer, or they'll burn it, write it down on a piece of paper and burn the paper and let it blow away. Or if there are things that they want to attract, they write it down and they charge it. So ways to charge it would be with crystals. You can make a crystal grid.
I like crystal grids.
Yeah, crystal grids are fun, and you get to get creative. You can use 5 crystals, or you can use 100 crystals.
You could put every crystal in your, whatever that you have on the table.
Every crystal in your arsenal is out now.
That's what I was going to say, panoply, but I don't know if that's the word or not.
I don't know, but when I did the Muneki with you through the long-distance transmission, I had a new grid every week, and it started off small, and then it just fucking grew to the point where my entire kitchen table was a grid, and every morning Jamie was like, I just want to fuck it up so bad, but he never did.
I love Jamie, yeah, because
he was totally protected, because he really wanted to mess with it, but he never did. So I feel like,
and look how well that worked. I mean, you soaked up those Muneki rites like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, because I started late in the process, and I catch up to everybody. So I was like, yeah, I'm fun, yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy shit! Crying. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? But it was good. That's when you know it's working, is when you start shedding shit and stuff comes up for you to pass and heal.
Actually, that's a good point to make, too, because a lot of people think with these stuff that, oh, it'll just make me feel good all the time. No. It's actually sometimes can bring up all the stuff that you need to release.
Right. And that's why with the healer's right, and every time I give the healer's right, I find, because I had given the healer's right before Christmas to someone. And every time someone gets the healer's right, it brings up stuff, from their past and their ancestors to be healed. And it can be painful, it can be good, it can be joyful, it can be pissed off, whatever it is. But for me, this time it was a sad one. So I was able to utilize the bands of power to help me. And that's why I like doing the two together, because I feel like when we give these people the healer's right and we set them off, they should have somewhere to put this shit. You know, one of my ladies was like, a week later, she's like, why the fuck is, like, I wanted to kill everybody in Walmart. And I'm like, what? Like,
My
she
ear is
emailed me.
You know, when you said that, yeah, my ear, I'm getting like, whenever my ear rings, it's like you said something, you have to give those two rights together. I think you're right.
Yeah, I always, because this is how I look at it, okay? So the bands of power are like a replacement for all your rituals and protections and stuff like that. So you do your white light or Archangel Michael or whatever you do to protect yourself. A lot of times we forget to do that. But with the bands of power, you don't have to do anything. They're already there. So if you can, feel like shit and realize, okay, I already feel like shit. Can't protect myself from this because I already feel like shit. You can take whatever it is, say you're pissed off, you give it to the fire. Each one of the bands connects to a different element. So you have black earth, you can give everything to the black earth to be fertilized for Pachamama. You got the red water. If you're sad, I like to give it to the water to wash it away. If I'm pissed off, I like to give it to the fire to burn it. If it's just something that's like not being expressed right, like if you're having problems with coughing, you can give it to the silver air to blow.
Oh, that's
away.
a good idea. I think I'll do that.
Yeah. And then with the white light, I mean, that's just like anything you got. Just give it to the white light for transmutation. But I don't like setting people onto that path with the healer's right to be like, here you go, we're going to go bring up some stuff and not give them anywhere to put it, because sometimes they need somewhere to put it. So that's why I really like doing those first two rites together. I think this introduction to the Mune Key is going to be perfect for those who are willing to take the next process in healing, to step into more into a role of being a healer. And when you have those two rites, you can give them to others. So it may help
and
you
people
start.
Don't need to do all 9 or
Right.
10 or whatever. That is really, and it's expensive to do all 9, and it's a lot of commitment and work, unless you really want to be a shaman and follow the shamanic path. I honestly, I would only do the first 2.
Right.
Now, the soul star rite are rites, just so people understand that, like, the star rites, as we're calling them, are ones that have been gifted to me and Bridget, and you may get them too. It's not like, oh, we're so special, we got gifted these.
Right, and I tell people that when they go through the Mune Key, when they've finished all of the rites, a lot of times, there may be a point where spirit will come to them in meditation or in dream time, and they'll receive a rite. And Natalie received a rite, and I was like, that's all right. And she's like, oh yeah. And then I received a rite, and I was like, oh, that was like, I didn't know it until, like, it, but it's not like you're expecting it or making it up. It just happens.
Yeah. And so I do think more rites will come. I mean, that's what the Quero, the 9 that are like, let's say that the 4 winds, packaged together in the actual community of the Quero, they wouldn't get all 9 because each one would come from different tribes.
Right.
So it's quite intense getting all 9, and I don't actually recommend it for everybody.
Right. And the thing is, I always say this too, because when people come to do, a lot of people want to do the intensive weekend where they get them all together, and I'm like, I don't like doing that. I like to do in like a 6 to 8 week type of thing, because it gives us the time to feel in between each rite. And it also helps, sometimes shit happens because they're not ready to go on, whether it's themselves or outside forces that keeps them from taking that next rite. I never question it, and I don't care. Like, it's not about the money for me. It's like, because I mean, I could be like, yeah, do all 10 today. I would rather them.
Can you imagine?
I know. Like,
no. How do you feel?
I would rather them go through separately, and what the way I do it is I offer it them, just pay as we go. So it's like $30 each time they come, and we do the full guided meditation. We do the rite. It's like 2 hours of time we spend together. That's the process of the mentor and the protege. Building a relationship, connecting to the energy, and feeling, the difference between each rite. Some people who've been in the spiritual work for a long time, they can handle getting all of them within a weekend. But I only, I even tell people when I'm putting the event out there, I'm like, I prefer to do these separate. I don't want you to, like if it's someone who I think can't handle it, I won't even tell them about it. Because I don't think everybody can go through it. I feel like something will happen to prevent them from completing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want
Yeah,
to bring that.
absolutely. And so the introduction, in a way, is great, and that's all you may need.
Mm-hmm.
Is just the introduction. And once you get it, you can also pass it on and do like what we're doing, have events, charge people or not. I mean, it's how you value your time, or like maybe you make money already. This is what Bridget and I do like for a living, so we don't really make any other money. This is our job.
Part of it is it needs to be like because I don't always charge everybody for everything. You have to have it be an even energy exchange. So if you're in this type of work, and you need something like a massage, or you need something like you want a Reiki session, I trade with people for.
I do trades. I do trades. It's easier if the person's here though, and I live in Ireland, so.
Right. Yeah, like I don't want to trade with you if you're, I don't want to have to like take a 6-hour bus to come. But
trades are great. I don't mind trades at all. Mm-mm.
There just has to be an energy exchange going on. Like, even if you want to give it to someone for free, like when you're practicing and stuff, like you'll notice even if you don't say anything, they bring you a gift. Like I've gotten feathers, I've gotten rocks, I've gotten like all types of little like knickknacks and gifts from people who in the beginning when I was practicing giving the rites, because I didn't feel like I was totally comfortable yet to share them, I wasn't charging, so I would give it to a few people who I knew who were very close to me, and they would always bring me something. So I did get that energy exchange. You never just want to be giving someone something for just I mean, you can, but you don't want to get yourself into a position where you're giving way more than what you're getting, because then you're just going to get drained and sick.
Absolutely. And I think actually the Munaki, I think it's a great way to start the new year. Mm-hmm. Especially because like what we're talking about in this topic about manifesting, it will definitely help you manifest, but you don't need to do it. I mean, obviously you don't need to do this to manifest. There's plenty of other things that we've already talked about, like you making a crystal grid, calling on the planets, writing things down on New Year's Day. But I really highly recommend doing this introduction to Munaki with either in this event or contacting me and Bridget for it, because you can contact us separately outside of the event for just getting the introduction.
Exactly. And I feel like basically I had all these tools available to me before for manifesting and abundance and all that. Since I've been through the Munaki and since I've become, active in it and giving it to other people, my abilities to perceive things around me, to look at things from a different perspective, have totally amplified my ability to manifest things. Like, stuff just happens now. It's because you can remove yourself. Like, you begin to, like, as you go through some of the other rites, you begin to see through your heart and your soul. You're connected with archetypes. You're connected with energies that you weren't previously known about. So I feel like all of those aspects have totally amplified my ability to manifest. But again, the Soul Star Rite does that. That's where I feel like the biggest one that helped me to align with like what I wanted to do.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. I like that.
Well, thank you for having me come in. And thank you, Spirit.
Yeah, it's a beautiful rite. Actually, the Soul Star Rite, it really is. It's like you do feel like you're going home, and all of that helps to support you. Anything that can support us. I mean, some days are tougher. Listen, we're not perfect, me and Bridget. I know you're gonna be shocked, but we are not I mean, I've had a bad couple of days, I've been really down. Bridget made me laugh and I felt better. You just kind of like keep going. But anything that supports us and gets you through. And in terms of manifesting, the key is what we say, the being in the saying it in the present tense and then acting on it.
Right. Yeah, you have to take action. I think so many people get caught in that part of the power of attraction where they're like, oh, I've been doing this affirmation and that affirmation and blah, blah, blah. Like, but are you doing anything? Like, you do have to take some action to make it happen.
It's a two-step process, setting it in the right tense, present, and then doing the actions that follow on from that, and you will manifest. Like, I have been doing this, like, I 10 years ago, I have a PhD, I was teaching, I was doing a job that, like, I guess a lot of people will be like, oh, I love that job, but I hated it, It just didn't feed my soul. Mm-hmm. I was making way more money than I'm doing now. I wanted this job. I wanted to do what I'm doing now, and I am delighted to be doing it. I would like to manifest more so that, like, I can do travel and do other stuff, but I still am so happy to be doing the work I'm doing now because it's what I've been wanting to do, and I did manifest it. But I use the Louise L. Hay. I don't. It's similar to The Secret, isn't it? With the
yeah. I mean, it's all the same teachings.
I was like, I love myself, and the universe loves me. That was my affirmation, and I would say that 100 times a day.
And that's good, and it helps, and it does work when you start to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at there's people in this world, I can remember being like a miserable fucking bitch and being like, how is that fucking person so fucking happy? Like, I wanted to slap people. And now I'm one of those people, like, when I go places, I'm like, oh, it's okay. And I know sometimes when you're upset, you don't feel good or whatever. The last thing you want to fucking hear is be like, oh, just tell
you'll get over it.
Like, there's a fine line between being unrealistic and then there's the whole point where it's like, okay, you can be in that moment, but then you got to turn it around because you're not going to be in that moment forever. And whatever the fuck's going on right now, in 10 years from now, I bet you're going to be like, oh, I wish I was back there dealing with that problem. So, you got to look at each thing that comes up as a lesson. Rather than being like, why me? Look at it and say, okay, why is this popping up now? What is this teaching me? What is this showing me? Or to look at, like, if you're in a squabble with someone else, look at it from their standpoint. Why are they being such a fucking asshole? Maybe they're being a fucking asshole because of whatever's going on in their life. Maybe their parents, maybe whatever. I mean, there's a whole... I mean, when you start doing...
we don't know their whole story.
Right. Everybody's an asshole for some reason. It's not just because. So when you start healing, like, on your lineages and your ancestor lines and stuff like that, and you start feeling better, you're going to start shedding away these people who suck or seem to suck because they're not doing the same stuff as you. And when you can look at them and realize, like, the reason they're like that is because they're dealing with all this shit that not only they have gone through in this lifetime, but their ancestors have gone through, and they're, eons back, you can kind of be like, it's not their fault. So when you look at someone, just say, it's not their fault, they fucking suck. It's okay.
Oh, I know, I remember what I wanted to add, sorry. I meant to say in the, when I was saying for a ritual on New Year's, you can call on the planets. You can call on Pleiades too.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're, from a Lyran, Syrian, Pleiadian, let's say, on New Year's Eve or whatever, if you want to, like, take your crystals, call on those constellations, and you can even take each crystal that you want and tell it, okay, I want this crystal to take in Pleiadian energy and to hold. You can, what is the word? I'm sorry, my head. You can, it's not charge your crystal. What is it called where you tell the crystal what you want it to do? What is that word?
That's it.
Yeah, charge the crystal. Anyway, there is a special word, but it's like you charge the crystal So you could say, I want this crystal to help with manifesting for the new year, be from Pleiades, this one from Cyrus, this one from Lyra, this one from wherever. You can definitely call on the constellations. A lot of shamanic societies do that already.
Right.
And we just don't hear about it,
Well, and that's the thing. If you look back in the ancient, traditions and cultures and all these scripts and things, the Pleiades are they're in it. They're put out a lot. Like, they called on them. Even in the Four Winds manual, a lot of the pictures and stuff that were in there were like having to do with the stars and the galaxy. You can arrange your crystals into the shape of the Pleiades if you wanted. Take seven stars, 7 crystals, and put them out into the formation of the 7 stars to bring that energy in.
Exactly. I was gonna say too that I just lost it. Oh, I hate that. I'm sorry.
Do it.
There was something about galaxy. Oh, that was it. I don't know if anyone here does qigong, but I did qigong, and in qigong you actually can draw on like other constellations, galaxies, and parallel universes for energy.
Qigong.
Very similar. Qigong.
Qigong. I don't know if anybody does qigong. Reminded me yesterday, my mom's like, have you seen that Echo Chic store? And I'm like, and my friend Joan's like, you mean Eco Chic?
What did your mom call it again? Echo Chick?
Yeah, she's like, hey, I went into that Echo Chic store, and Joan was just like, you mean Eco Chic? It's so funny. Okay, and another ritual people can do is the full moon one, where I've been doing, and it actually works. Sometimes I forget to do it, but in the full moon, you empty your purse, your wallet, whatever you've got, and you put it in the light of the full moon, and you attract and affirm that you're gonna fill it 3 times. And the first time I did that, it was like a couple weeks later, and I was like, holy shit, because I had $500 manifested, and to me that's a lot of money. So if you're somebody walking around with like $500 all the time, you could probably get $1,500. So it really is a powerful tool. It's not just the rituals or the things that you're doing, it's the intention behind it. And us living in this 3D world, sometimes we need to do those little things to make it happen. I think it just gives it that extra power charge. Like, I'm doing this, so this will happen. And that's when that vibration comes in, and you're like, this is really going to work because I'm doing it.
I like rituals. I think they're fun. I like playing with crystals. I like making crystal grids. I like, writing things out and then burning it, especially things I don't want. I'm a burner, Bridget. I'm getting rid of this and fucking that, and I'm going to burn that shit. Yeah.
Exactly. It's good. And that's another thing. The despacho ceremonies are really good for manifesting. And
they are beautiful.
Reminds me, one of the biggest aspects of the power of attraction and affirming and all that is gratitude. You have to have gratitude. Even if you don't have everything you want right now, you got to start being gratitude for what you do have. Like, okay, I may not be a billionaire, but I have enough money so I can eat today. Start small and let it grow, but you have to be in gratitude.
Yeah, if you have like body issues, now this is from Louise L. Hay, but it helped me because I have had a lot of body issues in my life. She's like, start with like your fingers or your toes. Like, I like my toes. If there's not anything you like on your body, you could start with something small. Or I like my hair. Or I like my big toe.
Just my big toe.
My big toe is beautiful. But you'll start small and work your way up.
Yeah. And you may find that within time, you do actually start to like these other things. I know it can happen with the body thing. I mean, I've been, my biggest I ever was 165 pounds. The smallest I ever was like 110. But I'm able to.
Your smallest was your birth weight. Now, come on.
No. Well, I mean, it wasn't. I wasn't healthy, but you can basically start to, like, I would be in the shower and I would affirm, like, okay, I'm at my healthiest weight, because when I was really skinny, I was like, oh, gross. I'm like, I want to be at my healthiest weight. And apparently, my healthiest weight is not what I like to look at. So, be careful what you wish for, because I went from being, like, a size 0, gross, skinny, to being, probably healthy and normal, but in society's eyes it wasn't. So it's like now I'm back on the track of, like, okay, now I need to be a size this. So you also have to kind of bring in that thing, like, it's okay to not be what society thinks. You don't have to be a size 2. You don't have, like, some of us just aren't built to be a size 2 and be healthy. Like, I think we need to get that stuff out of our head and just attract in, where you feel beautiful. I've always liked my stomach, but I've hated my ass and thighs. So I buy clothes and things that will accentuate the areas that I like, and then it helps me to feel more confident and beautiful when I'm out there in the world.
Yeah, I like my hair. I have beautiful hair. So, like, I always make sure my hair looks good because it makes me feel good.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, if you got good eyes, fucking even not going anywhere. Get in the shower, put some fucking clothes on, put some eye makeup on, take a fucking selfie, make yourself look pretty. Those little things will help to boost your confidence and your happiness, and you'll start to radiate it out, and you'll start to attract it in. So I think that's...
Because, whatever the vibe is inside is what's going to be attracting the outside, So if you are down, you're going to be attracting more down.
Right. If you keep saying I'm fat, you're going to get fatter. So stop it.
Yeah, stop it.
You start thinking, like, your hair's falling out, and you say it, it's going to keep falling out. Stop saying it. Like, you're bringing this shit onto yourself. So that's all I can say is... try to reprogram.
I actually do think, I know what I was going to say. The January 3rd is the intent. We're doing the introduction to Monarchy. One of the things about January 3rd, we talked about this last time, was the awakening, the inner priestess, shaman, and that it had the deer as a symbol for the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the Monarchy, in the Mayan calendar, the day, or part of the day thing, they have this Zolkin calendar, is the deer, and the 3 degrees Cancer is I think the moon is at 3 degrees Cancer on that day, and that is the Sabian symbol of a deer. So during the ritual on Sunday, this Sunday, we'll be calling in deer medicine.
Awesome. The deer's been popping up a lot for me lately.
You were saying that the last time. I thought that was so cool. You saw a deer?
Yeah,
like live deers.
I saw a real deer. He was here. He had antlers.
Did he have a shiny nose?
No, he didn't have a shiny nose. But it's just it's cool to see how the synchronicity. That's another part of when you're attracting and affirming. When you're actually on the right path, some signs and stuff. 1111 and 111 will start appearing when you're on the right track. You're going to start picking up in different things. Like, so say you see a picture on Facebook of a deer, and then you listen to a show and they're talking about the power of the deer, and then you go outside and there's a fucking deer. Like, that's the type of stuff that lets you know Spirit is paying attention, you're affirming and attracting, it's working. If you're able to have good sleep, nice dreams, that's another way of knowing.
You can get confirmation in your dreams, absolutely. It doesn't. The dreams are, in a way, are just as real because you are experiencing it. If even if you don't remember it.
Right. And I think for me, sometimes with the dreams, I'm like, what did that mean? Like, why did I dream that? Like, I get really into it sometimes, but then, we overthink things a lot, and then later on we'll find out, oh, that's what it meant. So you may not always see it right away, but
how about talking too about just maybe because I'm gonna have to go soon, hon. I know I'm not feeling great, so I'm kind of petering out.
It's
But
okay.
what about with people, like, to talk a little bit about the negative, that maybe you want to manifest something, but it's not actually something that you should manifest or that is part of your path? How do
Uh,
we guide? How do you help people with that? Because that happens. People will be like, I want this, and I want
yeah.
to manifest this, but it's actually not part of their soul path, and it
Well,
doesn't manifest. And then they think that they actually think their manifesting ability is bad.
that's that is that's what sucks about it, is because some people, I like to put it into these terms, like when you say when someone passes away and you go to a medium and you want that medium to deliver a message from that particular person who passed away, and like that's the only person you want to hear from, the only message you want to receive. So when they start talking to you and they're like, oh, I have someone here with, blonde hair, blue eyed, no, I don't know them, I don't know them, I don't know them, it's because it's not the one they're looking for. um and later on they may go home and be like, oh, that was my fucking Uncle Joe. But
Yeah.
you're in resistance at that point. And the only way you're really going to figure it out is through the time, is when you realize, like, it's not happening exactly the way you wanted it. You're not manifesting and affirming. I mean, you're manifesting and affirming properly, but Spirit is giving you something that you're basically in resistance to, because you're like, I want this way, and you're trying to control every aspect of it. It's not going to happen. The only thing I can tell you is, if you're trying to manifest something and it's not happening, something is happening. And it's probably the best fucking situation for you. You just have to let go of that control factor and that resistance you have to whatever's happening. Like, we're trying to attract in our most compatible mate. And that most compatible mate may be, in your mind, a particular person. If it's not working, they're probably not your most compatible mate. There's also a part where this comes in now, too, is some people focus on someone to the point where, like, and then they question everything. So, like, it is working, but maybe it's not working fast enough, or maybe it's not working the exact way that they pictured it to work. It's still working. When you start questioning the fact of it working, or you're like, well, how come this? Or, they seem to like me, but they're not liking me the way I want them to like me. That's when you start creating the opposite of what you want to happen. When you start questioning every little detail about it, you're hurting yourself. So it's a tricky thing.
It is very tricky, because I'm thinking about, like, when I was teaching at university and teaching, I wanted a better job. I wanted this whole career, and I was trying to get this going, and I felt like I was beating my head against a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't happening. And in reality, I was beating my head against the wall. It wasn't the path for me.
Right. But you were getting a better career in the end. You just didn't see it yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was devastated. Honestly, at first, I was like, oh, my gosh, all I ever wanted to be was, a professor and a teacher, and be like, la, la, la. I am actually a teacher. It's just not the same. It's not in a university setting.
Right. And that's perfectly fine and aligned to what you always wanted to be. You just didn't. You had what society had placed out there as,
exactly,
this is how you do it. And Spirit was like, this is how you're going to do it.
No, you're going to be a shamanic teacher. You're going to be something totally different. And I was like, wait, what?
Right? But those are the things that you may not notice at first, but in the end you'll see. Like, when I drew the circle and I put Jamie in it, I had no fucking idea that, like, I was kind of like, it was like, at that point for me, it was like a lost hope. But I mean, I hadn't, he was calling me and talking to me because he was miserable in his relationship and he didn't want to be there, but this and that and this and that, but. So I just kind of, like, that's another aspect I want to put out there, is you got to give it to the universe to deal with. Like, you can't focus on it to the point where it consumes your life. So, You put it out there, affirm for it to happen, and allow the universe to take care of it. It may not take, it's not going to be 2 days. It's not going to be 2 weeks. But within a year, we're fucking together.
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme of life, that's short.
Do the ritual and then let go.
Right. Don't get too caught up in it. And I don't know. I mean, if anybody has any questions on this, if I forgot to mention anything, like we said, there's books out there. There's information on YouTube. You can private message us, or you can comment in the section for the comments, and we'll try to answer your questions on the next show. But I know Natalie's not feeling well, and
no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I have a bad cough. No, I'm not. I'm healthy.
She's healthy, but she needs to go so she can become more healthy.
Exactly. We mentioned the despacho, and we have another show. That's another great way for manifesting. If you're looking for a ritual besides crystals or whatever, the despacho is something you do, and it literally is about burning something in a fire, giving it to spirit with your wish blown into it.
Right. However you want to do stuff too. I mean, you don't have to follow our rituals. You don't have to follow any type of book or guideline. Just whatever makes sense to you, go out and do it.
Because you could be from Lyra and you intuitively know what the Lyran traditions are that we don't, and you may not even know why you know it.
Right. Trust it and go with it.
Exactly.
And give it time. Give it a fucking little bit. Don't just do it overnight and be like, it didn't work. Give it time. I mean, you're trying to undo friggin' however many years you've been alive of negative shit. It's gonna take a while. So.
And if it doesn't work, maybe, don't give up, because sometimes it's like sometimes we're misguided in what we want to manifest.
Right. Sometimes we're blind to what we are manifesting too, so.
That is true too. Like that. Like I was like, why am I not getting the job I want? And then I realized one day, oh yeah, I am doing.
Oh right, I am a teacher. Duh. You are. I mean, you taught me so much, and it's just a different version of what you wanted, and that's what you totally expected.
Yep.
I think it's even better than what you expected.
I think so too, because I love doing what I do, and I love my work. Right. It feels so good to help people and empower people. It really does.
Right. And it's not always about money. It's not always about, recognition or things like that. It's about how you feel. That's another part of the process that people need to heal is if it feels good, do it. You don't have to be doing it because, it's going to land you $50,000 a year or whatever. Just do what feels right. Because at the end of at the end of your life, when you look back, you're not going to be able to bring anything with you except for your feelings. So,
yeah, except the soul level, exactly.
So stay true to your soul, my dear.
Yes, stay true to your soul. Call in whatever you want, the Pleiadians, constellations, stars, whatever you want. Do a little ritual this New Year's Eve. Get all the social Western media, usual rah, 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 rah. Do your own thing, starseeds.
And I think that's pretty much it. So do you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Yes. You can find me at www.alayahealingservices.com. I'm in the west coast of Ireland, so if you are in Ireland, I do Reiki, reflexology, and I do clearing. I clear spirits from houses and land, and do tarot reading and all the shamanic stuff. Online and for long distance healing, you can look on my website for that. And I have Starseed Shaman on Facebook, YouTube, and Google+, and Twitter at Alaya Healing. And of course, we have me and Bridget are on the Blue Ray team, the Pleiadian Blue Ray Show, and Pleiadian Express Productions. And hopefully Larry will be with us next week. We miss Larry.
I know, Larry. What the fuck?
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to be here this week, but then he had to work. So.
Yeah, he's manifesting work. So So you can find me at becreativelyu.com. I also offer healing services and readings and Moon-A-Key. We have the big event coming up, the introduction to the Moon-A-Key with the Soul Star Rite as an added bonus. So I'm also on Facebook under Divine Essentials New Paradigm Healing. And you can find me in Pleiadians Northeast, Pleiadians Plus, my personal page. You can email me. You know, all that fun stuff's connected, so I'm not really worried about it. But I just want to send a big thank you to everybody who listens, and I hope you all have a great new year, and I hope that some of these ideas and topics will help you to manifest a wonderful 2016.
Woohoo!
Goodbye.
Bye.